Thank you so much, Riyad and Akwana. Welcome, Good morning, Nigerians, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of FCTA Brief. Now, today we focus on a development that continues to affect governance and service delivery in the Federal Capital Territory. The ongoing industrial action by FCTA workers has entered a critical phase as unions insist that no normal agreement has been reached with management, despite claims of progress in negotiations. At the heart of the matter are unresolved issues bordering on welfare, conditions of service, and trust between workers and the FCTA administration. While authorities maintain that dialogue is ongoing, organized labor argued that concrete commitments remain absent, leaving workers with no option but to sustain the strike. Now, the situation has raised concerns among residents who are feeling the impact of disrupted public services. To help us review the issues, clarify the positions of the workers, and examine the prospects for a resolution, we are joined this morning by Jamal Medan, Chairman of the Joint Public Service Negotiating Council, FCT. He will be sharing first-hand insights into the negotiations, the workers' demands, and what it may take to restore normalcy in the FCT. Nice to have you here this morning.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. Good morning, viewers.
I hope you guys have called off your strike.
We have not actually called off our strike because nothing has happened.
You said nothing has happened?
Yes.
But there is this press statement from the FCT administration that 10 out of 14 demands of workers have been met. Now, if you disagree with that, do you have factual evidence to prove that, look, 10 has not been met?
From his press statement, actually, I understand that he made mention that one out of the issues that were resolved are the issue of 13 months arrears of hazard allowances. Oh. And I think that is the only thing that has been made, and then 1 month wage award that was paid. Apart from
just
that,
two things.
Two things. Even the two things, the arrears of wage award was 5 months. They paid only 1 month. These are the two items that were paid.
So as at now, you're disagreeing that 14 has not been made. But is government talking with labor? Are you into discussion so that these whole issues will be resolved?
Actually, let me say I'm not aware of any discussion between the union and the government, because the issues on ground are the issues that has to do with the entire workers in FCT. And when I say workers, ranging from the permanent secretaries down to the more junior staff in the government. And the reason why I'm saying that, we are actually representing all the workers. The matter in FCT had just been left to the workers. Okay, we are saying you have elongated the tenure of the directors and the tenure of the permanent secretaries, and you are asking us to go and sit down with them. Can they be judges in their own cases? They can't be judges in their own case. So for that purpose, we are asking that the chief accounting officer of the FCT should sit down with us. We discuss these things so that we can bring a lasting solution to this issue. If they are actually saying that they have resolved or they have met about 10 items, why can't they list them out and say, yes, this is how we treated this? One, we are talking about release of overhead costs to workers, and we know the importance of overhead costs to work to running offices, which are being made actually for the cleaning, buying of things like papers that you use and everything that you use in the office from day to day. But actually, let me tell you, it has gotten worse that you go out to type some of the important and confidential items of government and photocopy them outside. Then we are talking about non-payment of outstanding wage award. They paid only one and nothing has been done. The extension of the tenure of the directors and civil service and the permanent secretaries in civil service, they have not done anything. Even in his statement, he recognized that, yes, it was actually fault from the government, and they will take what measure have they taken to to either say, okay, have they released circular that anybody that is holding that position should hand over immediately to the most senior person in the department, defective promotion that the civil service chairman just released because of the system failure. He organized a promotion exam in a place where the light is not stable, the computers keep on going off and on, and at the end of the day, he's coming out to release that only 22% of the civil servant. All of us in FCT, we are brilliant civil servant, good civil servant. We went to better schools, and he cannot come and tell us that exam has been set up and only 20% of us passes the exam. Have they withdrawn that thing, and have they done anything about that one? They have not done.
Let me pick some of the items you have just raised. You just talked about the promotion exam. Are you considering a situation where a promotion exam will be set and everybody will pass?
No. It's not possible for you to set exams and everybody will pass, but at least with what we know, there is no way you can tell us that only 20. Apart from that,
if the fact states that they failed, you're questioning the fact?
No. We are questioning the fact because even right from the exams hall, the directors and the permanent secretaries, some people that monitor those exams were there when there was power outage issues, challenges with the power, with even the network, even whatever we were using there. That is what prompted them. The remaining people, some people were picked to go and write the exam somewhere. That place was not conducive and the system was not working, light was not working there. And that people will log in and it will log them out. Before you know it, the time is over. So that was what led to that. We were thinking that because of those challenges they saw, they could have thought of doing something else either before settling this thing. But they came out with the result saying that only 20% of people that pass the exam. It's not possible.
Before this press release by government, was there any other means of communicating with the union? Because you just said that there has not been any meeting. Was there any other? Because they also said that some of those demands, it's in the process of being met. So you are aware some of these demands and is in the process of being met. Is there any communication to that effect?
Let me state it here clearly that, like I said, we are union and we are representing all the civil servants in FCT. And actually, I will say since this government came on board in FCT, the union has never met with the government. And we have written letters. In fact, in the first place, we have written letters congratulating them and welcoming them to FCT. And we have also written letter requesting for courtesy call from Nigeria Labour Congress, Joint Public Service Negotiating Council, and other affiliate unions. We have written severally. Let's sit down and discuss this matter so that at least we can see how to move the FCT forward, how to give people better service delivery. But we have not met with the government. And the issue is just left between us. And when we are saying government, there should be an accounting officer. We are not talking about civil servant. Me coming to sit down with my colleagues to discuss things that we know. At the end of the day, my colleagues' hands are tied. They cannot do anything about it. That means we have not met.
But if your colleagues have been commissioned by the administration that, look, go ahead and discuss on our behalf, is that not a step?
That is why we are arriving at, that is why we are where we are. Because they can't do anything. Like promotion areas we are talking about.
Sorry, you said they can't do anything. But yes. Have you sat down to talk with this group of people?
Everything ends on their table because they can't do anything. That is why promotion areas of 2023, we are still battling with it. Areas where most of these issues are not today's issues. Even the promotion exercise we are talking about is not 2025 promotion that we are talking about. It is 2024 promotion. The 2025 promotion is even yet to be conducted. Most of these things that we are talking about are something that civil servants has already worked for. And because it is between us, they keep on touching, and they cannot do anything about it. Okay. That is why we arrive where we are today.
Okay, and let's look at this other aspect. You said most of these things are not issue of 2025. They've been there for a very long time. And some persons will say, why now? Is it because it's on the eve of an election? Because you just rightly said that hazard and rural allowances have been paid. Now, if those have been paid, why is it that the FCTA services are entirely shut down while some have been met.
So I believe if you look at our letter, we have more than 16 items, not even 14. And I have said it is only one item that is penciled out, and that one item, in fact, if we are to go in, there is what we call non-clinical hazard. That one, I don't know even if that one is being paid. Let us just face the truth and say it. There are some things here that are simple things that can be done. For instance, why elongating the services of civil servants who you know that they are supposed to stay in the office for just 30 years of age, and then 60 years of age and 30 years of working years, and you are elongating it. They are just simple things. Remove circular, let them do this thing. Why all this overhead costs? How do you want us to work? If we call ourselves back today, and let me say it, for the first time in FCT, even the cleaners who are being paid 30,000 naira as 40,000 naira went on strike for almost a week, and we cannot do anything. So if we call off the strike today, what happened? What can we do? We will continue going to borrow papers, buying papers from our own pockets to run the government offices. It is not done. We cannot do it. So these are the reason why we are saying, okay, you ask, why now?
Why now?
I said the promotion arrears is 2023. And they came on board on 2023. We've been pushing, trying to meet with the government to see that we settle this thing amicably within the House, and it has not been done. We have not been given a chance.
There's a local council election just around the corner. Why now? If you shut down the system, wouldn't it affect?
We are not coming because of the local government election, neither because of whatever, but we think we have been pushed to the wall and things are not working anymore anywhere. I can give you an example. You go to hospitals today because of the gross shortage of manpower that we have been pushing, employ, recruit people, where even the Civil Service Commission have advertised for recruitment for how many months up to today. They have not even released those recruitment exercise. They say, go to the hospitals today, dilapidated infrastructure. Go to the hospital today, no consumables, no equipment to work with. We have a lot of issues that are still pending, and we are saying that we have written that government, come, let's sit down together. We are not a threat to you, but we are the people that will help you to achieve whatever agenda you come with. Right. So just for the purpose of that, government have refused to sit down with us.
Jamal, thank you for that line of conversation. Let's quickly go on a break. And my guest, Jamal Medan, is the chairman of the Joint Public Negotiating Council. We left off talking about the stalemate and why has it taken this long before workers decide to react. But the point is, at what point does a strike meant to protect workers' rights begin to lose public sympathy? Are you thinking about that, look, if we prolong this strike beyond necessary, we might begin to lose public sympathy if services in the FCT that is hosting the federal government is disrupted and things go terrible?
It is because we considered public. That is why this strike has stayed long since 2023. Some of these, our demands, we've been following government because we've been considering public. But we have happened to find ourselves where, see, we have to survive before we can serve people. So in a situation where we cannot survive, that's where we can, like I just mentioned, overhead, you have not released. People are using their pocket money to run government offices, which is not right. And we have sat down watching even our pension funds, our national housing funds. We see them not being remitted, and we sit down. If we retire, where are we going to? What are we going to get? Our pension fund money have not been remitted to the PFA and all those things, and we are seated down there. Public should also consider that it's because we are being pushed to the wall. That is why we are coming up on that. In fact, let me tell you, many things are not working. We have mentioned it even in they've mentioned it even in their letter that, look, there is restriction on financial autonomy of the MDAs and other people. I will give you example. You go today, meet some of the agencies, they have approval limit that cannot even solve a simple problem. I'll give example with the primary healthcare board that if you look at it, the bill has been passed since 2016. But up to today, I don't think the limit of that executive officer is up to 1 million. The Director General in the hospital board.
What's your interest in that? Because even the spokesman of the minister faulted that. What's your interest? Does that have to be call for a strike? That is a management decision, is that not?
We have interest in that. There are bureaucracies and there are a lot of things that you have to take if you are to do some things before it gets to minister. There are things that you can definitely have to release so that you solve the immediate problems in an agency or in an MDA. So if that is not done, honestly, nothing will keep on running. Look at cleaners going on strike. Most of these things are supposed to be solved within the DC, and all this overhead and whatever monies that you can use to run offices must not go down to where we are talking about. So people, we have interest, because if we are stranded and we cannot work and there is no funds to run the offices with, then we will say we don't have interest. That is why when people even go to hospital, they keep accusing the health workers that they are not doing this, doing that, because they are constrained. There is nothing they can do. So we have interest because we run the government. So they should be allowed to work. There are actually laws governing those agencies or boards that has given them financial autonomy. Let them just be granted those opportunities to go.
Now let's look at this other aspect. Has it always been like this in the FCT? If we take a look at all the grounds for strike that our union pushed out, has it always been like this, or you're saying that from 2023 with this administration, the FCT, things changed?
As civil servants, I will just have to be very frank that we have never witnessed this, particularly, let me say, in the health sector. If you can remember very well, last year in March, all primary health care services were closed down for over 4 months. And now, as I speak, the secondary health facilities and even the tertiary health facilities are just rendering skeletal services, has been closed down, nothing is working. And look at it, FCT is now closed down. And as like the way it's going, we have a slogan in the Nigerian Labour Congress that in the union, that injury to one, injury to all. The way these things are going, if nothing is done much, other affiliates will definitely come up giving sympathy to our members. That may lead to shutting down most of all these facilities that we have been enjoying. We are the ones that are working wherever, water board, NEPA, and everywhere we are working. So you all know that we are the ones working there. We have no option that maybe along the line we will give them a sympathy strike and then close down everywhere, so that people will know actually we cannot do anything.
Now, at what minimum point will Labour decide to call off the strike? Because at the point you are talking about no formal agreements. At what point, if the government comes in and call you and say, look, and give a verbal and talk with you and say, look, call off this strike, we're going to meet this, would that be sufficient? Or what is the minimum? Or you want all the 16 or all the 14 to be made before you will call off this strike?
We may not say definitely they will give us all the 16 points, but there are a lot of issues here that are just...
What are those basic ones you want to be made?
Okay. When we say the basic ones that are will need to be made, releasing overhead to the offices concerned is some of the important things that has to do with the promotion exercise we are talking about. Actually, there is no way you can tell us that you conducted a promotion exercise and only 20% of the people that passed the exam. Restriction of
it's possible. No, it's possible.
Restriction of these salaries, preparation and everything to some particular individuals. Let me be clear with you. We've been battling between payment of this payment. You wake up today, this particular allowances has been removed. Tomorrow, this one has been removed. Next time, they will tell you the system has been collapsed. You will get only mega salaries, and you don't know. Nobody restored that back. They don't pay you what. So we want a very good salary payment preparation, at least to standard, training and retraining, reinstatement of or payment of our national housing fund and our pension funds back to our PFA will be very important. Then the issue of this seeing directors, they overstay without them being confirmed. We want them also being confirmed. The transportation system, we are all aware of what happened recently with one of the nurses that died in Jabi. Because of all this transportation system, if there was a very good transport system in that place, she could have moved from the hospital straight to where she's going to. So lack of housing scheme in FCT. Workers cannot just sit down, they don't benefit anything. We feel the workers in FCT should be given opportunities, even if it is land you give to them, and some of them can develop all those things. So the promotion areas we are talking about, government should do it. It is something we have worked for. So financial autonomy to all these MDGs and everything. To all those things. Then, yes, sir.
I'm listening to all those things, and it's like they're saying everything should be met first.
Everything should be met.
But you'll agree also that some of those demands are not what you just accomplish by the push of the button. It takes a process.
Like which one?
It's not what you said. You said hazard, maybe some of those allowances. Even when they give approval, it will still take a process. There's a time difference between when government says, okay, approval is given and the actual payment. So are you waiting for the actual payment or when an approval is given?
That is why when we sit down with the authority and discuss this thing, discussing it here, people will not understand it. All this thing has been calculated. Minister will just sit down and say, okay, I've signed it. Union C, I've signed. Go back to work. They'll pay you tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Okay, you are keeping some people that are supposed to have retired. It's just 3 sentences. By the time you say, please hand over to the more senior person, it has finished. And when you say, okay, financial autonomy to this, it has finished. Okay, overhead costs from so period to so period, please release it. This thing is just like you press a button and it's over. We are not demanding for something so serious here. We actually want to try to help this government to work to achieve its Renew Hope agenda. There is nothing more than that. We just want to help this government, because the people that will suffer this, are suffering this much, is the public. When things are not working, people feel your government is not working. But what we are trying to push, we want to push these things so that people will see the government working. Like issue of the lack of recruitment, shortage of manpower that we are talking about. By the time you solve this thing, okay, you have done the recruitment since October. What stops you from releasing it? But just pressing the button, by tomorrow you have released the recruitment list, but you have not done it. Okay. So what is the problem? There is nothing that is much here.
Now, Jamal, we've listened to your own narrative, and we should not also discountenance what the government is saying, that 10 out of 14 have been met. Now, would you subscribe to an independent audit body to look at what they have said? Because if they say we have met 10 out of the 14, they might have their own fact. Probably some approval have been given that because you have not fiscally met and you are not privy to those ones. Will you subscribe if an independent audit body comes out and look at it? And if that independent body should say, yes, 10 have been met, will you be willing to just suspend the strike?
So we are not actually on strike because we want to strike. If this thing has been made, it's nothing that is hidden. And even in his own statement, if he has itemized things that he has done, there is no problem. What is wrong? From that day that we went on strike to today, if they have called us, we have done this one. By now, you could have even seen the circulars. In these days, before you know it, we just released one circular today, is on the social media. So what have they done apart from these 13 months hazard allowances that they pay and 1 month wage award? Why can't he mention it? He has mentioned the 13 months that they have paid. That is the only thing he made reference to. So actually, let us just be honest to ourselves. It's not because you are a media aide, you just come on this thing. And let me say one thing. He is saying that for concerning the pension and the National Housing Fund, it is the responsibility of we, the union, to move. How can people listen to this kind of statement and say, agree with somebody? How can it be my responsibility as a union? Can I go to FCTA now and say, I have approved the movement of so money to the pension, individual pension fund?
The money has been deducted, is that
right? The money has been deducted from us, all of us, and has been kept in an account. And our fear is that what will happen to this money when there is a demand for the money and they cannot see it, possibly before people will say, via that money to another account and let's use it. That is our fear. And by the time we retire, we suffer it more.
Okay, just lastly, is this just about a strike for your welfare, or the labor is trying to push for a referendum how workers want to be treated by government going forward?
So if you look at most of these items that we have not even started pushing, we are not demanding for new things. We have not even started pushing for the welfare of the staff in FCT. We are just asking, like, you borrowed money from me, I say, give me back my money. We are talking about things that we have done, and we are talking about right things to be done. So that is what we have been pushing for, and we want to help this government to achieve its Renew Hope agenda. That is what we are trying to do, so that when people come to offices, they will see things working, not a situation where people will come to the office, they will blame civil servants for not doing this, for not doing that, for not doing this. So that is all. Go around Abuja, we have mentioned it in part of our agenda here, request here, that they have not paid those enforcement workers for the those cleaners at the Abuja environmental.
And those are the casual workers.
Casual workers, and also the cleaners that are there, they've not paid them. And go around Abuja and see it. If the place is okay, we are trying to help this government to achieve their ends.
As a final question, if after this moment the minister calls for a meeting and you reach an agreement, what assurances are the workers giving to compensate for the time lost, because so much has been lost? You're promising that you're going to compensate for the time lost.
I think FCT workers or civil servants are very active persons, and they are people that are committed and dedicated to their job. And if not because of the situation that pushed us out of our workplace, all of us could have been there. Some of us worked in maybe late in the night, and I'm assuring you, if by today, after this chatting, if minister happens to meet our demand, honestly, I'm assuring you that our workers would report to work even today, and they will work, and most of these things that they have not done within 2 days will be met up.
Jama Madam, your word is your bond. Thank you so much for your narrative, your conversation with us this morning. And that is all that time will permit us to take on FCT Brief today. I hand you back to my colleague in Lagos for the remaining part of this